In this excerpt from the 5-hour video Pool's Biggest Secrets Revealed 3 Pattern Play, I'm going to show you how mastering the stun and rolling shots will really take your game to that next level. So if you're ready, let's get started. Here is the 6-ball pattern. Study the layout and figure out the best way to run out. This is another pattern that relies heavily on proper angles. The key shot here is getting from the 4 to the 5. Work backwards from the 4 ball to figure out the pattern. Okay, before I shoot the 1 ball, I need to look at my problem area, which is the 5 ball. I'm going to have to shoot the 5 in this pocket, so that means I'll have to end up in this area for a position. And if we look at the 4 ball, the sliding cue ball line heads to our position area. So if I can play shape for the 4 ball below the 4 ball pocket line, I should be able to slide the cue ball to this area. So now I have to figure out how to get below the 4 ball pocket line from the 3 ball. Similar to the last pattern, if I can end up with an angle like this on the 3 ball, all I would have to do is roll it in and I could come off this end rail for a position. So this is my ideal angle for the 3 ball to get on the 4 ball. Now I have to figure out how to get to this area from the 2 ball. Now some players, when they shoot the 1 ball, they would draw it back and shoot the 2 in the same corner. Then they would have to force the cue ball to the end rail and back up, and while this may work, it's not the natural way to play position, and you may run into the 4 ball. This time I'm going to put the cue ball here and just roll the 1 ball in the pocket. My goal is to come off the other rail and end up near the 2 ball line. If I can end up near the 2 ball line, I can just roll the 2 in and my cue ball will head to my position area, and it won't take that much effort. If I end up above the 2 ball line, then I can no longer roll the 2 ball in, since it's going to head to the side pocket. But I can now use the sliding cue ball line. Since the sliding cue ball will head in this direction, I'm going to use a stun follow shot to shorten the angle and end up in my position area. Now when you have a shot like this, you always want to hit a target on the final rail. For instance, my target is the 3rd diamond. If I can come close to hitting that 3rd diamond, I should have my angle in the 3. And one thing you don't want to do, if you can avoid it, is to play position into an open area. For instance, here I'm trying to stop the cue ball in this position area, but I've overhit the shot and now I don't have a natural angle to get back for the 4 ball. Okay, so we're here in the 3 ball, and when I shoot this shot, my goal is to end up below the 4 ball line. And just like the previous shot, you don't want to play pinpoint position by rolling into an open area, as in this case where I ended up short of my position. If I can shoot the 3 ball and come off this bottom end rail, my position area is very large. Even if I underhit the shot, as in this case, I still have the angle that would take me over to the 5 ball. Okay, so we've ended up here in the 4 and the sliding cue ball line heads in this direction. So I'll need to put a little draw on the cue ball so I can hit the rail somewhere around here, giving me a shot on the 5 ball. In this shot, my goal is to end up anywhere in this area. This is a difficult shot to play perfectly, but I do have a little room for error. If I shoot the shot and end up below the 5 ball pocket line, I can follow the cue ball to the other side rail and back out. Or I can use the sliding cue ball line to end up here. If I end up even farther below the 5 ball pocket line, I can use low action to kill the cue ball. If I end up straight in, most good players wouldn't try to stop the cue ball and shoot the 6, since they are very close to each other. If you mishit it even a little bit, you may end up funny on the 6 ball. Usually what they'll do is they'll draw the cue ball back to the side rail and back out. If I end up here on the 5, my cue ball is going to go into the 6 ball. So when I shoot the 5 ball, the 6 may come off the end rail and back up, leaving me a tough shot. So when I shoot the 5 ball, I want to shoot as softly as possible to keep the 6 ball near the pocket. And this is a tough layout, and it may take you a few tries before you can run it out successfully. Sticker up any shot that is giving you trouble. And by now you should be getting a good understanding of how angles move the cue ball around the table. The goal of any pattern is to play a position on object balls where all you have to do is roll the ball in and your cue ball will head in the proper direction. And when you can't roll the ball in for position, then you have to be good at seeing the sliding cue ball line and knowing how to use that line as a reference point for moving the cue ball off the object ball. Here's the 7 ball pattern. There are a couple different ways to run this pattern, but I want you to find the run out where every shot is a rolling cue ball. The key shot here is getting from the 3 to the 4. Okay, so before I shoot the 1 ball, I need to examine my one problem ball, which is the 4 ball. I'll be making it in this corner since the 7 is blocking the other pocket. If I can shoot the 4 and end up in this area for the 5 ball, all I'll have to do is roll the 5 in and the cue ball will naturally roll to this area for the 6 ball. So to get to this area from the 4 ball, I'm going to want an angle like this, where all I have to do is roll the 4 in and my cue ball will naturally head toward this area. But now I need to figure out how to end up in this position area for the 4 ball. The easiest way would be if the cue ball were on the end rail below the 3 ball line. Then all I would have to do is roll the 3 in and my cue ball would head toward this area. So an angle like this on the 2 would be ideal. All I would have to do is roll the 2 in and I can head to my 3 ball position area. So when I shoot the 1 ball, I'm just going to cut it in and go off the other rail to get my angle on the 2 ball. Now at this angle, it's just a matter of rolling in the 2 ball and I should get my position on the 3 ball. And when we're shooting the 1 ball, we don't want to play position into an open area. It's much harder to control the speed. As we mentioned previously, when playing position off a rail, try to hit a target on the rail to play a position off of. For instance here, I need to strike the rail right around the first diamond. And it's important that you recognize when you can roll a ball in and when you'll have to use the sliding cue ball line. For instance here, if I roll the 2 ball in, the cue ball will be heading in this direction. Since I know I can't roll the ball in, now I have to use the sliding cue ball line. If the cue ball is sliding, it will head in this direction. So I'll shoot this shot with a little draw on the cue ball to bring it over to the side rail. I just have to make sure I end up below the 3 ball line. But I would prefer to be closer to the 3 ball. So this time I'm going to shoot the 2 with more of a stun follow shot. This will push the cue ball forward so I end up closer to the 3 ball. Now if we end up on the 3 ball line or above the 3 ball line, we can no longer roll the ball in. So now we're going to be using the sliding cue ball line. If the cue ball is sliding, it's going to be heading in this direction toward our position area. And once we're on the 4 ball, it's just a matter of rolling the ball in. The angle will do all the work for you, and moving the cue ball toward the position on the 5. The advantage of this is that you can focus entirely on pocketing the ball. Another advantage of this angle on the 4 is that we'll be shooting it with a soft stroke. So even if you miss hit the shot a little bit, as I did here, the pocket plays much bigger due to the soft speed of the shot. Okay, so now we're here on the 5 ball. A rolling cue ball will head naturally to this area here for the 6 ball. And it's important that you can recognize where the cue ball is going when it's rolling. Players who don't have a feel for the rolling cue ball may instead play position for the 6 in this corner, but it's not a natural position shot, since once the cue ball leaves the last rail, it still has a ways to go before you get to your position area, and your speed has to be more precise. But if we roll the 5 in, even if I hit it too easy, once it leaves that last rail, I'm still on the correct angle. And as long as I pocket the 6, I'll get my position on the 7. And once we're here in the 6 ball, we can just roll it in and get to the end rail. But in this example, I ended up with too much angle on the 6. And I know right away that a rolling cue ball will head toward the corner pocket. So I'm going to shoot the 6 ball with a little bit of draw to bring the cue ball over to the side rail and down for a shape on the 7. This pattern is all about recognizing when you can roll a ball in and when you'll have to use the sliding cue ball line. For instance here, we can roll the 2 in and get our position on the 3. But now we're at a different angle, so we can no longer roll the ball in. We're going to have to use the sliding cue ball line. And the same for the 3 ball. Below the line, we can just roll the ball in and get to our position area. But when we're on the line or above the line, we're going to have to use the sliding cue ball line. Here I've ended up with less angle on the 5 than what I wanted. So if I roll the ball in, I know the cue ball will head more toward the side pocket area. So to correct this, instead of aiming above center, I'm going to aim around center to help minimize the roll and change the angle of the cue ball coming off the first rail. So experiment with these shots by putting the cue ball in different spots. Practice rolling the balls in and keep track of where the cue ball goes. After a while, you'll know when you can roll the ball in and when you'll have to use the sliding cue ball line. So in the next section, we're going to move on to spinning the cue ball. But before you move on to using left and right spin, you need to become skilled at moving the cue ball around the table just using center, center low, and center high. If you can't control the cue ball using center, center low, and center high, you're never going to be able to control the cue ball using spin. You will always struggle with your position play. Take as much time as you need to practice center ball positioning. Start developing a feel for the sliding cue ball and the rolling cue ball. Also, you need to be visualizing the pocket line that runs through the object ball. Knowing what side of that line you need to be on for position is a skill that you need to develop. Once you start placing that cue ball on the correct side of that pocket line, moving the cue ball around the table will take a lot less effort, and you'll begin running more tables than 8 ball or 9 ball. And the more you practice shooting using center, center low, and center high, there are a few things you're going to start to notice. Number one, pocketing balls will become much easier.